Hi, I'm Thomas Mucha. In this video, I'm going to show you how generative AI tools allow us to have a conversation or a dialogue directly with a knowledge base that consists of individual documents. This video includes two separate parts. In the first one, I utilize a technique called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. It is increasingly popular now, and it relies on associating our prompts with additional relevant data that we are sending to large language models. In the second part of the video, I'll be building a custom GPT. This is a large language model that assumes certain persona that is geared towards or customized for specific use case or context. All right, so let's say that in this case, we would like to create a tool that is leveraging knowledge base from a help center. And in this case, I chose Slack, communication service or platform. And I have readily available information here on this page. So this is help center on using Slack, and let's create an specialized large language model based tool that will be leveraging knowledge base specifically from documents included here, and that we can interact with natural language. So first, let's have a look at the tool we are going to be using in this case. For the purpose of this demonstration, I will be using GPT-4All tool. This is a chatbot that can be downloaded and installed locally on a computer. And in this way, it can run without connecting to external sources and still answer using large language models that are optimized for running specifically on local computers. We don't need to go through setup of this tool. If anyone is interested, I will provide link to how to access this tool. All right, that's how at this point in time version 2.7 of the tool looks like. And I have already downloaded a model. This is something that you would need to do if you are starting to use GPT-4All for the first time. So I have already downloaded a model called Mistral Instruct. And I have also created special instructions for this model. All right, so here you can see some more details of the settings. So we will be using Mistral Instruct, which is one model that is trained specifically for handling tasks or responding to instructions rather than just continuing text of the prompt. Here you can see that this model is downloaded to this file locally on my machine. And one important step here is this system prompt, which is this kind of the opening of the instructions that the model will always receive, or the chatbot will always receive before the prompt from the user. And I am asking, or first defining that this chatbot is specifically helping with Slack usage, and I would like that the conversations that are made by this chatbot relate or are based on the knowledge base, so the context that I'll be providing to the chatbot. So the next thing that we need to do is set up this knowledge base. So in this case, the knowledge base of our model is going to be the content of individual pages that are listed here. So let's say if we open this page, we have information on this direct messages, how they work in Slack. So this is a very short article, but you can see that there's some detailed instructions or explanations on how Slack users might leverage some of these features. And there's some tens of links, and what I have done is I have downloaded the content of each of these pages. All right, so what we have here is a folder with HTML files that include all of the individual pages from Slack Help Center, specifically using Slack. Let me open one of these, for example, here. So you can see this page is actually downloaded to my hard drive. And if I open the source code, which is the information that we would be providing to as a knowledge base to our model, we can see that this is not exactly what we want yet. So now you can see that the source code of the file, you can see here's the link of the page that I opened a moment ago. So the source code includes quite a lot of content that we really don't need our model to be using when generating answers, right? Because this is source code of this HTML file with some JavaScript. And here we have, I think, soon we'll be able to find the information that we are really interested in. It's somewhere here, right? So the content that we would like to extract is somewhere hidden here, and we don't need all of the HTML source code here. So what I have done is I have extracted some of the key parts of these files. So here is a list of TXT files. You can see that correspond to individual pages on this Slack Help Center, but I have extracted only the key text content, or at least, well, maybe not exactly the key always, but most of this. Let's have a look at the same page that we investigated a moment ago. So here you can see that this is much cleaner content on how to connect Slack to work with other companies in channels. And it is not very long, or in terms of the text content, but this is much better compared to the raw HTML file. So we would like our chatbot to use knowledge base from this type of documents when answering questions. All right, so let's now create document collection that our chatbot can use when answering questions. We can call it Slack FAQ, and this is where the folder with TXT files containing this Help Center pages is located. So we can add this, and we mark that when generating answers, GPT-4All should provide the references to the individual files that were used when generating these answers. So now we can see that when generating the answers, we need to still activate the documents that will be used. And what is happening now is this kind of ingestion of the content of these files into the model. So I will not go into the technical details of this process, which relates to creating embeddings, so the descriptions of this individual text files, so that the model can navigate and find information there. So now this information is now available to our chatbot, so we can ask it some questions. So let's start off, for example, with asking about differences between public and private channels in Slack. And you can see that Chatbot is first searching for local documents. So it's not really going through the files, but rather this representations of the files that it's able to comprehend. And when it finds several of documents that are relevant to our request, it will use these files when in a way first it will update the prompt that we have created, and so that this additional information is added to the context of the prompt, and then it will query the model to generate the answer. All right, so now you can see that it is generating response based on our prompt or query. So it looks reasonable, the answer that it's providing, and now it is also giving us references here that were used when or that were identified as relevant context to generate answer to in relation to our prompt. So we can have a look at this. So okay, it definitely looks relevant. So it looks at information about channels in general and public and private channels. So I think that looks good. So the use case here is really that the model generates the answer based on its own language capabilities, and then also the knowledge base that was not necessarily included in the training of the model. So we can bring some additional information and serve them as part of kind of updated prompts that we are sending to the model or to Chatbot. So let's look at some other examples here. So let's say that we want to ask this type of question. So how to share information that is too large to fit into a simple message in Slack. So again, the same process. Chatbot is first searching the information that is based on or in a way implied by our local knowledge base, then updating our prompt or adding this information to the context of the prompt, and then generating the answer. All right, so as the chatbot is generating answer to our question, we can also notice some meaningful differences between the earlier uses that I presented to you. So using, for example, ChatGPT. So here, this chatbot is really running locally. So everything is happening on my local machine, and there's no need for internet connection, of course, once the model is downloaded. But now, when it's already downloaded, it is not interacting with any external information, which means that this type of setup has different level of security and privacy. So we are not sending our request and we're not getting responses through the internet, but rather everything is happening locally. But at the same time, we are limited to the models that are that can fit in and can be operated by the local machine in this case, and also the computing resources that we have locally limit the speed with which we can ingest the documents that we are uploading to the knowledge base, and then also when we are searching through these documents, and then finally when generating the answers. So I think I like also this demonstration with other tool than those that we were using before, because it shows some of the trade-offs in leveraging large language model tools in business context. So now if we have a quick look at the answer here, so we can see that again, this looks very reasonable. And then also the references, some of them are relevant, some maybe are less relevant. But in this case, when using or when relying on this type of knowledge base, the model is getting or the chatbot is getting this context, so this kind of snippets, or they are called chunks of documents that are added to the prompt, and based on this it's generating the answers, but it doesn't have to use these additional chunks of content or context when generating the answer. So even though there might be some parts of context or content that were retrieved and they are not as relevant to our query or our prompt, then model does not really need to include information from this this type of context. So I'll send one more prompt and then we'll wrap this section up. So let's say we're interested in the use of Canvas in Slack. All right, so here definitely context looks like very relevant. We have Canvas accessibility. Then we have more information about Canvas, and here I think probably the most relevant piece of context, so ways to use Canvas. All right, now we can wrap up the first part of this video where I have demonstrated the technique of retrieval augmented generation. So now we'll be moving to the second part where I'll be building a custom GPT. All right, let's have a look at another approach to interact with an existing knowledge base that is outside of the scope and focus of kind of general large language models or chatbots. So we can now create a custom GPT, and we are using OpenAI's ChatGPT interface to do that. Let's say that in this case, we would like to create a specialized GPT that will help supply chain management and logistics function in our organization. So all the team, people involved in these activities, when they are implementing ISO 9001 quality management system. So you might recall from another video I was performing some analysis of a document that was describing this ISO 9001 quality management standard. So now we can keep on working with this type of example. So let's call this GPT an ISO 9001 advisor for supply chain management team. Maybe that's a long name, but let's go ahead with it. Then a short description about what this GPT will be doing for us. All right, so let's say that this GPT should be acting as an expert in supply chain management, but also in ISO 9001 certification process. And the key purpose of this GPT is to provide advice on how to successfully implement ISO 9001 in supply chain and logistics function. So now let's move on to instructions. So let's say that first of all, this GPT will be providing insightful and relevant advice, even in complex scenarios. And this will be related to the implementation and use of ISO 9001 quality management standard, and specifically for logistics and supply chain management. In terms of behavior, let's say that this model or GPT will be analytical in its approach, and it will be focusing on understanding the changes, the causes, the effects of actions in relation to supply chain management and then this certification process, and then it's also okay to ask follow-up questions to clarify the situation, to get more details. And finally, when it comes to the style of interaction, let's say that it should be professional but still approachable. It should be, of course, respectful and courteous towards those who are asking questions. And then it should be ideally an effective tool for providing guidance in this field. So we can save this description. Conversation starters, I think they are not necessary. So what we are still going to do is we will upload knowledge base, so files that will help this chat or this custom GPT to be more focused and specialized within the area that we are interested in. All right, so let's upload files. So in this case, I have several PDF files that talk about this quality management system in general, the implementation process, and also specifically about quality management in supply chain management context. All right. So in a moment, these files will be uploaded, so we can still look at the capabilities. We would like that this model can generate code if needed. Doesn't need to generate images, but it can browse the web to get more information if necessary. And we will not be adding any actions. Okay, save. And let's say that it is going to be available for anyone with a link. Confirm. Great. It is already here, but I think what we can still do, we can still make a small, we can add here an image or a logo that will be representing this custom GPT. And in this case, we are using DALL-E 2, a model that generates images from text prompts to generate an image representation for that GPT. So let's see what it will come up with. All right, looks good. So I think now we are ready. So update, confirm. All right, so now we can go to this custom GPT and let's see how it will answer some questions. All right, so let's say that we have this kind of situation that there were some recently started new supplier relationships, but at least some of the suppliers failed to deliver. So our management team is asking us to revisit this supplier onboarding process. So let's see if there's anything related to this process that we should think about from the perspective of quality management system. All right, so I think it has generated a reasonable answer here, and there are some points that definitely could help someone kick off this process of updating the supplier onboarding process. Let's say I would like to investigate a little bit more this topic of training. That this is something that maybe we haven't been thinking as much about in our organization. So we can ask specifically about this point 8, and then if the GPT can tell us more about the approach to training of our team. And we can say, give me an outline of a training process. Let's see what happens then. So it is now accessing documents, at least some of the documents that we uploaded. And now you can see that it is creating for us an outline of the training program for quality management. And this is something that could be definitely useful if I wanted to develop this type of content. And it can also be useful in a sense that it highlighted or flagged several key important aspects of this quality management in our function, and that maybe we were not in a way sensitized to, that we would not recognize. So here we can immediately dive deeper and get useful ideas. Having and maintaining competitive edge often requires something unique, something that is not easy to imitate by competitors. Many companies consider that their knowledge base is one such unique ingredient. I hope that in this video I was able to give you an idea of how generative AI technologies can help companies tap into and leverage their knowledge base even better.